Hi, I'm Dad Williams, and you are listening to the TigerTalk Podcast.
Hello everybody and welcome to the TigerTalk Podcast, the official Gloucester City AFC club podcast. I'm Noah Woodland, joined by Morgan Turner-Green. Morgan, how are you today?
I'm alright. I feel like we should address a bit of an elephant in the room. We haven't done the podcast in a few weeks, since the last one. But the phone's fine. For any away fans who were at the, what was the game? Basingstoke. The phone's okay. So we're back. It's been a few weeks, but we're here ready for another podcast.
Yeah, we're back in action, and we've got none other than Gloucester City captain Keiran Thomas on the podcast. How are you, Keiran?
Yeah, good, thanks, mate. Were you good?
Yeah, good. We're happy to have you on. It's obviously someone we wanted to get on for a long time, and I think right now is probably the right time to get you on. So we'll start off just going to the start of your career. Where you started off in, well, we know Cheltenham Town, but before that, where were you playing your kids' football, and what are your best memories from those sort of days?
So I started my kids' football at a local team by me. It was called Forest Rangers, and then I went to a club called Mitchell Dean. I had successful times there. To be fair, we've done really well with a really good team, and then from then I got scouted for Cheltenham, and then I was at Cheltenham ever since, really.
And when you were at Cheltenham, I think you played with a few of the players you play with now, Joe Hanks and a few others. What was it like playing with them, and what were they like during your footballing career?
Yeah, obviously like Joe Hanks, Ed. They've not changed, to be honest with you. Ed's definitely not changed from the moment I've met him. It's good. Obviously, I've been with them majority of my career, really. So no, it's good. I've got a really good relationship with both of them. So no, it's good to be a part of them still.
And when you're playing youth football, and we had Ed on, and he was talking about when he got his first contract and his first money, like at that point, are you thinking, I'm going to be like in the Premier League and stuff like that? What's that like for, an academy player in, League Two?
That's obviously I listened to Ed and he was saying about the money and things like that. Obviously, as a scholar, it's completely different again to obviously being a pro. But as a scholar, it was good. It was obviously our full time every day. We train every day, which gives you a taste of what it could be like. But obviously I didn't get a pro contract, so I didn't really get the opportunity to even get that offer, what he got, or whatever it was. But being a scholar, it was just having the full-time outfit, things like that. It was just brilliant to be training every day. It's obviously like a dream job for everyone, isn't it? Yeah,
and then you're at Cheltenham, and then what was the next step for you in football? What happened around you leaving Cheltenham, and where did you end up next?
Yeah, so obviously I was at Cheltenham I started there when I was 12, and then went all the way through to a scholar, and then halfway between my second year scholar I went to Cinderford on loan, which was amazing for me, by the way. Like obviously playing with men, I was only 17, which I really enjoyed. A successful time. And then obviously I got released from Cheltenham at 18, and then I just literally went from Cinderford from there. Because I knew the surroundings there, I was comfortable there, so it worked really well. So I went straight from there to Cinderford then.
And what are those experiences like? Like you said then, 17 going into like a men's dressing room at Cinderford Town. We see a lot of players go to like these lower league clubs. What are those experiences like for you in terms of propelling you into your men's footballing career?
I think it's so important because, like I said, youth team football is completely different to men's football. Everything about it, the changing room's different, the training's different, the playing's different. And obviously we got Sops at Gloucester at the minute. Obviously young lad. And if he said the same thing to him, he'd say to you, obviously it's experience, so much experience for him, and he's come on so much since being at Gloucester. You can see that in the way he comes across, and it's so important for any young lad that's obviously playing youth team football. I'd always say if you can get a chance to go on loan, whatever league it is, I'd 100% do it.
Yeah, we had Sops on. He was talking about how instrumental this loan and the other loans he's been on has been for him. What's sort of the biggest thing you learned whilst out on loan as a young player?
I think the physical side of the game as well, which helps a lot. Obviously, men's football it's completely different to youth team football. It's more long balls, it's second balls that you're fighting, tackling, heading, whatever that is. And obviously, youth team football's not like that because a lot of it's not. It's not like a league. It's just you're playing games to develop as a player. Whereas obviously on a Saturday with men, there is obviously 3 points on the line. We all want to win the game, so it's completely different.
And what's the next step after Cinderford Town? Where do you go next?
So I was at Cinderford from 18, a couple of years I was there. We had a really successful time there. Obviously Bruffy was our manager. We won the league. I think we was unbeaten at home all year. We had a really successful team. But after that, after we won the league, I was always going to look to try and move on a little bit. And then I had a phone call from Tim Harris with Gloucester, and it was obviously something I wanted to do. I knew a lot of the lads there anyway. Ed, Spence, obviously Hanksy was there, so I was speaking to them quite a bit. So as soon as I spoke to Tim, I was like, yeah, I want to step on. Obviously National League North, which is 2 leagues above what I was playing, but I thought I was ready for that move. So yeah, I went from Gloucester after Cinderford.
And that jump from, the lower tiers of non-league to National League North, what was that jump like? Do you think it was bigger than you thought it was going to be?
It's a good question. I think for the first couple of games, it did take some time to get used to, if I'm honest. I always backed myself, I think, in my ability with playing. But when I played the first few games, the first game was against Salford away, and I was like, I don't think we touched the ball. It was like, Jesus, it was difficult. And then I think the next game, I don't remember who it was against. But it was at home, and we used to play at Cheltenham at the time. And I had a really good game. Second game, I thought, well, this is all right, it's fine. And then just went on a really good run then. And then I think the first year I won Player of the Year, Sports Player of the Year, Players Player of the Year. So my first year coming out of that league was very successful here. So yeah, I did enjoy obviously my first year.
And obviously, Gloucester City very well now, but when you go to Gloucester City that first time, what was it like? Obviously you said they're playing at Cheltenham Town's ground, playing for a club that doesn't have a home. What was that like during that time?
Yeah, it was obviously it was difficult obviously for the club. I enjoyed playing at Cheltenham. It was obviously a nice stadium and stuff like that, but it was difficult for the club obviously in lots of different avenues. But I enjoyed Cheltenham personally, but then we went to Evesham the second year. That was when it got a bit difficult. It made it easier because we was playing at a League 2 ground, so it did make it easier. But Evesham the second year was a struggle.
Yeah, I think that at that point was probably when when Gloucester City moved to Evesham. At that point, everyone was thinking, obviously, like you said, League 2 ground was brilliant to be having that every week, and you move to Evesham, and there's no disrespect to Evesham. They got a nice little ground there, but it's obviously different to the 4th tier of English football, and travelling up there, it's not a direct route, little things like that. Just, I think, probably killed the fans' spirit a little bit, and that's when we were desperate to get back to Gloucester.
Yeah, 100%. It was difficult even for the players. There was no atmosphere there. It was very dead, and we had to kind of bring our own atmosphere on the pitch, which was hard. And but obviously the first year I was here in the North, we had a really successful year. We just missed out on the playoffs, and the second year wasn't so successful. I'm not saying the pitch has got anything to do with that, but obviously when we was at Cheltenham, it did feel a bit more, like together, if that makes sense. Whereas Evesham's obviously a big open place, if that makes sense. But it definitely made it difficult for us in the second year.
You talk about on the pitch, you had to, essentially create your own atmosphere. What does that look like? Is it just playing good football, or is it sort of making that call to the crowd, sort of, come on, get behind us?
It could be anything, really. I mean, like on a Saturday, if someone does like a big tackle or a header, or someone goes on a run, that creates the atmosphere for the boys. It gets everyone going. It gives everyone a kind of lift. So that's kind of what I mean when I mean like the atmosphere on the pitch. Yeah.
And obviously, the Gloucester City fans are fans very well. They travel in their numbers every week. What were they like when they were going to Evesham? Obviously the crowds were dropping, but they were obviously still the fans you all know and love making all that noise.
Yeah, like I said, even though it was Evesham, they used to travel away, home and away games, and they were brilliant. Like even everyone that was here when I was here before was still here now and still come away on Tuesday night, things like that. And you've got to give them credit because obviously they mean a lot to us. So.
Is it nice seeing the same faces every week, and when you came back for this time, seeing those same faces?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, every year I kind of wasn't here, the same faces would always like message me on Twitter, things like that. It was always like all the same faces they're top. To be fair, you can't argue with that.
And when you were at Gloucester the last time, am I right in saying that you got the captain's armband during that time?
Yeah, the first, I think it was the second year maybe. So I had the captain's armband then. I think. I got it off Webby, basically, because Webby wasn't playing as much, so I had the captain's armband, which is obviously a big honour to take it from Webby. Obviously, club legend, so that was a big honour for me, yeah.
Yeah, and you mentioned Webby there. He's obviously a massive legend for Gloucester City. What was he like to play with, and, did you pick any little things up off him, or was he giving you tips here and there? He's obviously such a figure around the club still to this day. When he comes, everyone's sort of looking like, there's Tom Webb. What was he like for you?
He was unbelievable as a captain, as a person, as a player. I've never known anyone run so much on a pitch. You just knew exactly what he was going to get from him. Do you know what I mean? I was a younger player then, so coming in and obviously having him as a captain, he was brilliant with the younger players. And even, like I said, even to this day when he comes to the pitch, everyone's just like loves him still. Do you know what I mean? I think he'll always be a club legend.
Yeah, I think it was nice seeing him last season. They had a charity game against Man United legends, so it was obviously nice to see him lace up his boots again. Maybe not moving the same as he used to, but it's definitely a nice thing to see. But before we get on to your move away from Gloucester City, should we do quick fire questions?
Quick fire questions.
Yeah.
So, it's in the name. Just answer a question quickly. So, favourite film?
Titanic.
Okay. Favourite artist?
Justin Bieber.
I was not expecting that.
Really?
Favourite song?
At the moment or in general?
Both.
I'm going to go Justin Bieber. No, Chris Brown actually. I'll go with Chris Brown Forever. That's my favourite song.
I really do like that song, to be
that's
fair.
a good song.
Favourite food?
Nando's.
Favourite holiday destination?
Greece.
Childhood team?
Liverpool.
First game you remember watching?
I want to say Champions League final, Liverpool AC Milan.
That's not bad first.
Yeah.
Favourite player of all time?
Steven Gerrard.
It's easy. Best player you've played with?
Luke Thomas.
Against?
Luke Thomas.
Marlon Pack.
Biggest inspiration?
I'd say Steven Gerrard again for me.
And favourite football memory? That can be as a fan and as a player.
As a player, playing against Bristol Rovers in the FA Cup. Obviously, my brother was there, so that was a big thing for me.
Yeah, we'll move on to your next move after. I just wanted to ask, you mentioned your brother there, Luke. It's obviously someone who the Gloucester City fans know well.
Yeah.
What's it like, having a family just surrounded by football, and what was it like growing up with, someone else who was wanting to get into the footballing game?
Yeah, I mean, forever really. Me and Luke was always out, just playing all the time. And I've got another brother as well, Liam, who he was the same. We was all at Cheltenham together. Liam didn't, went another way. That's just fine. But I just remember when we was kids, we was always out on the grass playing football every night, and it was just, it'd get dark and we'd get called in. But I just remember it was just football. And it was same with my dad and things like that.
And you said you grow up playing football together. With Luke, is it you always just trying to better each other and push each other all the way to their limits?
When we were growing up, I'd say no. We just kind of done it because we both enjoyed it. We didn't really know the potential of us both as kind of players. So yeah, it was more of enjoyment until we got obviously around the age where we were going to be going playing for better teams, things like that.
And obviously now he's at Bristol Rovers. Talk to us about how much you're keeping track of his games and what he's doing. How often are you keeping a look at what's going on over there?
Oh, every day. I mean, I'm texting him all the time. Obviously, wondering how he's getting on, how training is. Is he playing, things like that. And I'm obviously so proud of what he's done and what he's achieved in the game. I personally think he's still got more to give. Obviously, from a young age when he was at Derby, at Barnsley, Coventry, things like that, he was unbelievable. So I still think he's got more to give. But I am super proud, obviously, of where he is at the moment.
Yeah, and do you go down? Say we don't have a game or there's a midweek game. Do you ever go and even when he's at his other clubs, go up there and watch him?
Yeah, 100%. When I can, I'll go. And when I went to Wembley, I watched him at Wembley. He was in the playoff final for Barnsley against Sheffield Wednesday, and I watched him in front of him. It was 76,000 there, and it was an emotional day for me. Just seeing him on the pitch, it was unbelievable. Obviously, they lost the game. To be fair, it was in extra time, but it was such a proud moment for me and obviously my family and things like that.
I was gonna say, I was gonna ask you how proud you must be of him making, something like his debut for a professional team, but to then see him playing a sold-out crowd in Wembley in that game as well. And I know we lost, but we had Josh come on as a Wednesday fan. He was just talking about how massive that game was. Just how do you feel as a brother just seeing him on the pitch in front of that many people?
Yeah, like I said, it made me emotional, if I'm honest. It was incredible. The game itself was amazing. The Sheffield Wednesday fans was amazing. The Barnsley fans, it was brilliant. And the game was so close, it couldn't go either way. But obviously seeing him playing in that game, it was just incredible. It was incredible to see.
Yeah, so now we go on to your next move. I think it's going to Weston Supermare. Is that right?
No, I went to Hereford after Gloucester.
Okay.
So yeah, I went after Gloucester. I was there for 2 years, and then I went to Hereford after that for 2 years.
Yeah.
Which was, everyone knows obviously it's a brilliant club. But when I went there, the fans were unbelievable. Got nothing bad to say about them, to be fair. It was I went there. It just got promoted into the National League North, and that was my first year there. But no, I really enjoyed my time there.
I love Hereford's ground. It's like a proper old school ground. What's it like playing there?
It was amazing. I mean, the fans, we were getting like, I don't know, it was like 3,000 at a time, and it was just, they were unbelievable. Especially with me, I got on really well with all the fans. I had a good relationship with them, so it was nice. It's a nice place to be if it's going well. And obviously the fans want success at the club, which is fine. And obviously they make that heard, which is not, that's absolutely fine.
Yeah, well, like you said, when fans when you're winning, it's all right. But when it starts going downhill, how tough is it when you've got a big, massive fan base like that on your back? It
is difficult. I'm not going to lie, it is difficult because they want success, and like every club wants success, but it's not always as easy as it might seem. Obviously, they had so much success before I joined them, with obviously being lower in the leagues, things like that. And I think they got promoted maybe 3 or 4 times in a row. And obviously they got to National League North, which is obviously a very difficult league, some really big teams in there. And obviously they've been there ever since. And when it's not going well, the fans do get on some players' backs, which is, I think they've got a right to, within reason, obviously give their opinion. They pay their money, which is fine. But obviously they need to remember, we don't ever want to lose games. We want to win. We all want to be successful, but it's not always as easy as it seems.
And when you went to Hereford, I think there's obviously a little bit of a derby between Gloucester City and Hereford. Did you get any little comments or flack from Gloucester City fans?
I think when I signed there, I did get a little bit. Nothing like bad, because I always had a really good relationship with the fans. So it was nothing major really.
Yeah, no, you get a lot of players going to and from the clubs just because it's around the local area.
Of course,
so
there's only so many clubs.
Yeah, I think fans are obviously a bit more used to it now. And a little Hereford link, obviously we've got Mitchell Roberts in on loan now. What's he been like? And he seems to have integrated himself into the club quite well.
Yeah, he's come in. He's made himself part of the group really quickly. He's a really good lad. When he has played, I thought he's done well, to be fair. And obviously the Hereford fans obviously mixed comments on him, but they've all said that he should be playing more at Hereford. So it's interesting with him coming to us.
Yeah, and now you go to Weston Supermare, obviously a massive club, definitely in the southwest. How did that move come about from Hereford to Weston, and what was your time there like?
So obviously, when I joined Weston, it was a bit like, it was COVID time. So it was my second year at Hereford, and then Josh Galen was the manager then, and we was all a bit uncertain of what was going on. We didn't know what was happening with everything, contracts, things like that. And then there was talk about Hereford wanting to go into a hybrid, which was obviously 3 mornings a week, which I couldn't commit to due to other work commitments. But it was quite, I want to say, like a bit of a sad time, because I did have such a good relationship with Hereford. I didn't really say didn't want to go, but I didn't want to leave, but I didn't really have any other choice, obviously because of my work commitments and things like that. So then Sam Avery, who was at Weston at the time, I think he spoke to the Weston manager, because they were looking for a right back, which was ideal for me. So I got Scott Bartlett got in contact with me then, and then I went and met him and felt like it was the right fit for me. So I signed there.
And how do these moves come about? Obviously in non-league, is it literally a case of the manager's messaging you, or did Hereford put out like a, I don't know what it's called, but like I don't know what I call it, like a little thing to all clubs that you're on, that they're not going to keep you on? How does it all work in non-league?
I mean, it's when your contract comes up. Obviously, either the club wants to keep you or they don't. But obviously with Hereford, it was a bit difficult for me, because I kind of went to the gaffer Josh at the time and just said, this is what I'm going to do. It wasn't really having the case of, we don't want to keep you, we do want to keep you. It was just, I have to move on. So it was kind of in my hands, that choice. And obviously with going to new clubs, everyone kind of knows everyone in the non-league system. So if you know a player at a club and you can put the feelers to him, or would the gaffer be interested, something like that. So that's when obviously Abo mentioned to the gaffer about me, and then that's when I spoke to the gaffer then. So
Yeah, and I think a lot of fans will see players like, you know, in say for our league, they'll see a player scoring loads of goals and they'll be saying, "Oh, let's get him in." But you know, he's playing in Surrey, we play in the southwest, or he's playing on the coast. It's not as easy as just get him in because it's all to do with location at this level, isn't it?
100%. I mean, like it becomes difficult when you're trying to sign players from, you know, all over the country, because then there's obviously more finances involved because travelling costs, things like that. When I was first at Hereford, second year at Hereford, we signed a lot of players who were from all over the country, basically. And then obviously, you know, it's a case of lots of travelling, which means obviously more money. But obviously with being, personally, I wouldn't want to be travelling, you know, 2 hours to training and things like that. So for me, it'd always have to be a club who was, you know, in the area, which obviously there's not that many clubs in our area. So when obviously Weston for me was perfect. Obviously it's not far from my house. An hour I think is pretty good personally for me. So yeah, Weston kind of fitted that out for me.
So you talk about it being the right fit. Aside from location, what was it that sort of sold you on Weston's project?
When I spoke to Scott, I mean, he, you know, again sold the project with everything that was going on. Weston is a really good club. Obviously make no doubt about that. They're going in really good direction. They're doing well in the league. They've just got their ground. They're getting a new ground, things like that, which is really good. And the chairman there, all the staff there, they're a brilliant club. So they was a club that was definitely on the up. At the time, I was a little bit sceptical of kind of dropping a league, which, because obviously I was a bit younger then, so I was thinking I want to play as high as I can, things like that. But I knew that the players that we had at Weston, we would be successful there, which obviously we was. So, and the pitch as well at Weston's unbelievable. So that was a big point of it.
And I think, am I right in saying that your girlfriend plays for Weston as well? Is that right?
Yeah, she does. Yeah.
How did you come about meeting at Weston, or have you known her for a long time?
Yeah, I kind of known her. Well, when I signed for Weston, that's when I kind of like met her. Obviously, she plays for the women's team, so everyone integrates things like that. So yeah, that's kind of how I met her.
And do you think it's a bit of a bonus that, you know, you both play football and, you know, you're both travelling around playing football? I know some girlfriends or wives might have a problem with all the travelling and Saturdays, Tuesdays. Do you think it's good for both of you that you're both, you know, in football in work?
100%. Yeah, I mean, it definitely helps. Because it, like you said, all the travelling, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, you know, sometimes not getting home till whatever time in the morning, things like that. You need obviously support from your friends, your partners, things like that. So yeah, it definitely helps that she's like in the football world as well, because she supports me obviously brilliantly, obviously as I do with her. So yeah, it works really well. And
are you both, you know, footballers? Obviously, if you lose a game, it ruins your weekend. Obviously, I think you play a Saturday. Does she play a Sunday?
She plays Sunday, yeah.
Yeah, does it sort of ruin your weekend if you both lose?
To be honest, I'm not really that. I'm not. You know, some lads get really like angry, upset about losing. Obviously, we get upset when we lose, but I don't really want to take that home. I don't want it to kind of like football and my home life's obviously different. So yeah, I don't really. If we lose a game, obviously I'm annoyed, but I wouldn't go home and kind of like take it out on her or things like that. Do you know what I mean? So no, I wouldn't say it ruins our weekend.
And being from a family that is all football, you know, is it always football in the house? Say like when you and Luke and, you know, your girlfriend comes around, is it always football chat, or is it just do you try and switch off away from it? Do you think
it is a lot of football chat? I would say, yeah, I do try and switch off from it, but I'm not a massive like. I won't sit there and watch loads of games. So that's just not really how I am. I like to watch football, don't get me wrong, but like my brother and my dad, they'll sit there and just watch game after game after game. That's not me. But obviously, yeah, we always speak about is football. It's just obviously such a big part of our life. So.
And so how do you switch off if you're constantly surrounded around my brother's a footballer, my girlfriend's a footballer? How does Keiran Thomas switch off?
Good question. Obviously, I work as well, so I do carpentry, so that's another way of obviously switching off from football. It's a lot to think about with work and things like that. So with work and football, I don't really switch off. I really do struggle with switching off from that. But I think with football, it's kind of when I come to football, it's everyone's switching off, if that makes sense. Because obviously when you come in, it's a nice place to be. Like, lads are unreal. It's just nice to have that bit of time away from like your home life, your work, things like that. I'd say for me, switching off is coming to football. That's my enjoyment of my time, yeah.
And obviously having your current injury, do you think work's kind of been a bit of a blessing in disguise for you, just to sort of keep going and keep doing something at the same time as, you know, having quite a serious injury?
Yeah. I mean, the injury has obviously been really difficult. So I couldn't work for ever so long. So which was hard. Obviously, trying to rest it as much as I could. But yeah, work's definitely helped. Obviously, because not being able to play, it's so hard for any footballer out there. Obviously, injuries they're so tough. But obviously, I've been coming into football still. Obviously, I don't want to miss it. I still want to be a part of the group and I want to help the lads as much as I can. So yeah, I've just been trying to balance it as much as I can with the injury.
Yeah, and now back to Weston. Talk to us about that moment, the FA Cup run that you had to put you in playing against your brother's team, Bristol Rovers.
Yeah, that's something I've always wanted to do. Before I finished playing, I won a really good FA Cup run, or wanted to have a game against Luke. I think it'd just be something you could look back on in years to come. I think, yeah, it's a proud moment. So like when we got through, I was sat in the car, I was looking at the draw, and I was thinking, I hope we get Rovers. And it come up, and I just couldn't believe it. I thought I'd like it to happen, but would it happen? Probably not. But yeah, and when it come up, I was absolutely buzzing. It made me a bit emotional again, to be honest.
Yeah.
It was just like a massive thing. So I rang Luke. I was like, Luke, you seen the draw? And he was like, no. He was like, I'm playing badminton or whatever he was doing at the time. So yeah, he didn't really see it until obviously he was really happy about it as well.
And what was the run like? Obviously, I know Duff, just from my experience, he's somebody, when there's a cup game, he says this is a chance to create memories. I know a lot of players have memories, but some of you don't. What was your run like up until that game where you played Rovers?
I think the run, I honestly can't remember who we played beforehand. But we had quite a nice run, if I'm honest. It was kind of teams we expected to win. But then, yeah, when we got to the first round, there's always that chance of getting Rovers. And like you said about Daft, saying about memories, that memory for me is probably the best memory I'm ever going to have in my career. So it's a massive memory.
And do you think that even if that game didn't happen, that you and Luke would cross paths at some point in football, do you think?
Well, I'd always like to think he'd maybe come back here and play. That would be nice, wouldn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah, a lot of fans obviously say that to me, but I don't know. I mean, I would always like to think maybe we play together again one day, but obviously against each other, it's just unbelievable. What
was it like playing with him as well in a team?
Yeah, unbelievable. I mean, when he came to Gloucester, and we come on loan to Gloucester from Derby, and again he was 17 years old at the time, and Luke's only a small lad. He's not big or anything like that. So when he was at Derby at the time, and he wanted to come on loan to a men's team, I thought it was perfect for him to get into Gloucester National League North. And I was a bit worried at first. I thought it's a tough league, it's very physical. And our first game when he was here was at Darlington away, and I was suspended, I think, at the time. But I made the trip. I'm going to go with him, obviously, to support him and things. And he came on. I think he might have been the 70th minute or something like that. And the first minute he got absolutely nailed, and I was on the sideline like, oh no, like we know what's going to happen here. He got up and he was fine. Game on, game finished. And I went home. I thought, oh, is he going to be all right? And then we came with a Tuesday night game. I think it might have been at home against, I want to say, Alfreton, I think it was. And he was unbelievable, like unbelievable. A 17-year-old lad, and he ran the game. It was, and again, it's a really tough league. And obviously at the time I was playing right back, he played on the right wing. So it was just a perfect combination. And he was just, and ever since that game, we played against Salford at home. He was unbelievable. And he just done so well that year as a young lad. It was a pleasure to see.
Yeah, and you talk about, that first game, he's getting nailed and you're thinking, God, is he going to be able to handle this?
Yeah.
It's one thing to think, as you mentioned, Sops, he's a young lad, and as a senior player, you've got to sort of look after him.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably a bit of a different feeling when it's actually your own family, in the dressing room with you. What is that like, being in the dressing room with your own brother?
Yeah, I mean, like it is. You obviously have that protective instinct. Like you mentioned, Sops there. I've got a really soft spot for Sops. I feel like, as coming in as a young lad, you want to protect them lads, you want to help them as much as you can. And it was the same with Luke, maybe a bit more.
Yeah.
For example, when we were playing together, if anyone would, tackle him wrong, or I'd be like, go over and I'd be like a bit angry and stuff. But yeah, you do obviously. It's normal to obviously have that instinct of obviously wanting to protect obviously your family.
Yeah, and with Sops, obviously, he's a type of striker who puts himself about. He likes to, as young as he is, he plays like he's like a 30-year-old striker.
He does.
What's he been like since coming into the team?
Honestly, I can't fault him. Like I honestly think he's got a really good chance. Like I said, a 17-year-old lad, and he is as strong as an ox. Honestly, he is so strong. And like I said, he plays like he's played so many games, and obviously he might not have got as many minutes as he might have liked for his loan, but when he has come on, he's been unbelievable, as you know. And one thing I'll say about Sops, he never ever complains. When he's on the bench, when he comes on, whatever it is, training, his attitude is just unbelievable, and he's obviously adapted really well to the team. All the boys think a lot of him. So.
And obviously we had Sops on. What did you think of him when he came on?
I think you're right. I think for how young he is, I know we've said this to each other before. For how young he is, the way he handles himself and the way he presents himself is just incredible. And it's one thing to think, do you have the ability to go and play higher up the leagues? But it's one thing to have that mindset, and as you say, like not complaining, like to be 17 on a big loan. Especially, coming from a League Two side to this division, you might think, I want to play every game. I want to constantly playing. But when he hasn't been playing, as you say, like his attitude is just top, and I think that's the big thing. Like as much as when I watch him, I think, my word, like you are incredible. It's actually speaking to him and just seeing him, like you've just got I don't know, you've got that X factor.
Yeah.
It's quite hard to work.
Yeah, he's so grounded as well. Like when you speak to him, he's you can tell his attitude's just absolutely spot on, and just no complaints for Sops. He's I think he will go far in the game.
Yeah, it's always good when you see the Cheltenham Academy, they're posting, he scored 2 tonight, or he's got a hat trick tonight. It's good to see that he's obviously got here to have his platform, but then he can go there and get some minutes at the same time. Yeah,
100%. Yeah. I mean, like you said, he had that FA Cup run against obviously Reading, scored in the game, scored his penalty, and obviously when was it? Slow away, steps up, put his penalty in the bins. 17-year-old lad. It's so difficult to be doing things like that. So yeah, credit where credit's due. He's been unbelievable.
We'll go back to the FA Cup draw now. You see the draw. You said you messaged your brother. He didn't have a clue about it.
Yeah.
Is your phone just completely buzzing and blowing off after that?
Yeah, it was crazy, honestly. Like all my mates like texting, family, it was going mad. And then obviously like the news, like seeing it and things like that, so obviously we made a story about that, and that was good to do. It's obviously something you can look back on. But yeah, my phone was just going off really.
So I can't think of many more times that the family group chat might be popping off in that way.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. Yeah.
So obviously with the FA Cup, it's the draw, and it's not actually that long until you actually play the game. What was obviously you've got games in between, but how was that period of time before when you and then that whole time of not playing it until that day?
Yeah, as soon as it came out, it was just like I was just waiting for it. I was so excited for the game, just the whole day itself. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously the Weston fans, we took loads of fans there, and obviously the Rovers fans are obviously good as well, and obviously for the family as well. I can't remember even playing games in between that, from the draw to the game. It was just like I was just so like concentrated on that day. But yeah, like I said, we've done like stuff for the news in between, like interviews, things like that, and made memories that way as well. So that was really good to be a part of. And
obviously the Mem is obviously a brilliant ground. Seeing all those Western fans, and I'm guessing your family were in either that end or the Bristol Rovers end.
Yeah.
What was it like just seeing that travelling support?
It was unbelievable. Like I said, the Western fans are unbelievable. I had such a good relationship with them when I was there, and I can't remember how many we took now to Rovers, but it was part of the whole beyond the goal. It was so loud the whole day. It was so loud. So yeah, it was unreal to be a part of that day.
You talk about your family being there. Obviously, when you're playing, they want you to win. When Luke's playing, they want him to win.
Yeah.
What's it like on the day? Who they're rooting for?
To be honest, I don't know. I think maybe my dad kind of wanted Weston to win because at the time, obviously we're going to be the underdogs in the game, so it's nice for an underdog to obviously kind of get through. But I think it was they didn't really. I don't know if they cheered for the goals. I don't know. But yeah, no, it was obviously good for them, and they really enjoyed obviously seeing us both on the pitch.
I think it's one of them where you just want to see a good game, and that's what the game was, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, it was unbelievable. The game was obviously it was 1-1 the game in normal time, and we played really well. We had such a good chance at the end to win the game. It was so close, and then when it went to extra time, obviously then fitness did take its toll on us, as obviously being a part-time team. They scored from a cross and then a header, and then one of the lads, I can't remember his name, but he put it in the top corner. Luke set him up, and Yeah, he just put it straight in the top left. I think that gave us 3-1, which obviously it was to obviously go toe to toe with the League One team at the time, and obviously draw the game. That was a proud moment for everyone. So it didn't matter what happened after that result. Really, we was all proud, and it didn't matter kind of that we lost that game, because in our heads we've gone toe to toe with them. So yeah, it was a proud moment for obviously the whole club really and the fans.
And you said that Luke assisted one of the goals in that game. Is it? There's always going to be that brothers' rivalry. Did you secretly going, oh, Luke's just got that assist?
To be fair, it was interesting because obviously I was on the right. He come on. I think he was like maybe in the 10 or whatever, and he kept getting the ball on the edge of the box, and so many times he could have shot, and he wasn't shooting. I remember one time in the game I was like, shoot, just shoot. It's like he didn't want to score, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But the assist at the end. Obviously, I always want Luke to do well, whether it's against me or not. I want him to have a good game. That's just how I am. But the assist at the end, it was just literally just a nice little set, and lads wouldn't really call it an assist. He's had the last touch, but it was just like a little pass, and then he puts it in the top corner. But yeah, no, it was all good.
And obviously, you finish your time at Weston, and now we get to this point where you've got the call from Daff. How did that come about, and what was your reasoning behind coming back to Gloucester City?
Obviously, yeah, I was at Weston for 5 years. So yeah, I was there a long time, and it was amazing. I had a brilliant time. We won the league there, got to the playoffs, we had really good seasons, obviously in the National League South. And then I did have another year left on my contract at Weston at the time. But for me personally, I kind of wanted a change. And when you've been at a club for so long, it's just kind of time to, you think in yourself, maybe I want to change. And I did speak to, before I signed my new deal at Weston, the year before I signed a 2-year deal, I did speak to Cookie in the summer. But I just didn't think it was right at the time, because of obviously so many things with Weston. Obviously my partner was there, and things I was helping at the women's team as well, with the coach and things like that. So I just thought, no, I'm going to sign a new deal at Weston. Then obviously I went there, had the year there. And I just, towards the end of the season, I just kind of felt to myself, I think it's time for me to go back. I want to go back. So I did speak to, obviously, Ed and Hanksy, and they all, I want to get you back in, things like that. So that was a big part of, obviously, why I wanted to come back here. So then, I spoke to the Weston manager in the summer, and then just kind of explained where I was and what I wanted to do, things like that. And he was good, to be fair. I can't, no complaints. He was good about everything. So yeah, we all kind of worked together just to make it work. So yeah, when I spoke to Daff in the summer, he was just, as you know, as he is, he was so in depth with everything. He was brilliant, yeah.
And Gloucester City, obviously you've played for them before and you've come back now. When in that little period in between, because we spoke to Daff, he said, he's constantly looking at Gloucester's results. How often are you looking at, your previous club's results, and obviously Gloucester City in particular?
Yeah, I mean, it's just natural, really. Do you know? And no matter who you go and sign for, you're always looking at the results of your old teams. And I'd always follow Gloucester because, if I'm honest, it's always thought that I would come back. So I always kept an eye on what was going on and things like that. So yeah, I was always keeping an eye on the results.
Yeah, so you said you were going to come the year before but chose not to. Why this year do you think that was the right time?
It's a good question, actually. I just felt it was the right time for me personally. With everything, like with my job, things like that. So I'm working all over the place. So I just thought I wanted to just be closer to home. That's a big part of it as well. Obviously, all the lads at Gloucester, obviously they've just missed out last year. It's nice to be part of, obviously, a team who are going to be doing well. And obviously, I know so many people at Gloucester around from the area. So I just thought it was just a right fit for me to do that this year.
I was going to say, and you said about you thought it was the right time to leave Weston. What was it more leaving West? Like if it was another club that came with an offer, do you think would be more likely to leave, or
no? Just basically, I did, when I spoke to the manager, it was kind of because it was Gloucester or I wasn't going to go. So yeah, I said if I'm going to go anywhere, I'm going to go back to Gloucester, which was obviously I spoke to Salisbury. They messaged me in the summer as well. I was still obviously contracted to Weston, so I didn't even really think about it at the time. because I didn't want to go anywhere else. It was either Weston or Gloucester for me. So yeah, I was always just have my heart set on coming back to Gloucester.
So when we had Daff on, he basically said the same thing, didn't he? That if Newport, well, it was Newport, Gloucester.
Yeah.
That was it for him. So how like. I said the environment here, obviously it clearly must be something that people gravitate towards, isn't it? If people, like as you say, you and Daff, it's coming here or it's staying where you are.
Yeah, I mean, the club's such a close-knit club, which is obviously good. The fans are just unbelievable. They always, doesn't matter if we're winning or losing, they're always singing, they're always got our back and things like that. And then obviously, with the new management now with Daff, and obviously everyone knows how good Daff is as a manager and a coach. So I think Daff on his own can attract players because of how successful he will be. So we are really lucky to have him at Gloucester.
And what would you say has been the biggest impact Daff's made? Obviously everyone sees on the pitch and the videos on social media, but behind the scenes, what is Daff like to work with?
He is unbelievable. He's just so in depth with everything. I mean, he lives and he breathes like football in Gloucester. For example, we'll have a game on a Saturday, and say we got a game on a Tuesday. He'd go home Saturday night. He'd be doing like the analysis. He'd be doing reports, and we're going on a Tuesday, Thursday. We do our analysis of the other teams, and he just knows exactly what they're going to do before they even do it. I mean, I've been playing at this level now for quite a long time, and I've never had a manager or a coach as in depth, as detailed as Daff is, and he's such he cares about the players as well as. It's not just a football club, but as people, he cares about us, and he's always speaking to us, and he's just, ask anyone in the team, no one will have a bad word to say about that.
And you come back to Gloucester, obviously last time playing without a home. How nice is it now to be having that solid base and, seeing the club attract a bit more of a crowd, let's just say? Yeah,
no, it's brilliant. I mean, when I was obviously away from Gloucester, there was times where I come back to here to watch games. So when I come back to last year, was it Tiverton? Was that a Friday night?
Yeah.
I come to that one, and the fans were unreal. The atmosphere was really good, and I just thought it's a nice place to be a part of. When I come to that game, it was kind of, I got my head going a little bit, thinking, it'd be nice to come back and actually play in Gloucester. So obviously being away for so long is obviously a big part of obviously the club. I wanted to obviously have that time playing obviously at the TigerTalk Stadium, so that was a big part of why I wanted to come back as well.
And you went to that Friday night game last year. Our next home game is the Friday night game against Yate. Obviously, due to your injury, you can't play. Yeah. But how looking forward are you to that game? Just as a, not a fan, but just in general. Yeah,
I look forward to every game. To be honest, obviously now, I haven't been playing because of my injury. I've obviously had other roles within the team, which obviously Daff has been brilliant with helping me do that, and so that's been really good. So I look forward to every game. Obviously, I think that Friday night game is going to attract a lot more fans, people that wouldn't usually come to games will obviously, it's a Friday night, let's go and check it out, things like that. I think the atmosphere is going to be like one of the best of the season for me, I think, on Friday.
And to anyone, who doesn't know about Gloucester City or doesn't know about, what sort of football we're playing, give a little message to them about why they should probably come on that Friday.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to come and see some players, unbelievable players, Harry Pinchard, for example, Ed Williams. Want to come see them play? Kane Simpson, some very good players there. But we do play, obviously, unbelievable football, as you know. So it's decent, it's attractive. It's our passing style of football. It's a good watch. And for me personally, the football we play, I'd rather watch that than what I would watch a Premier League game at the moment. That's just how I feel about it. So yeah, if you haven't got anything to do on the Friday night, definitely get down there.
And we'll talk a little bit about the dressing room. Should we go on to the next segment?
So we have a little segment called Tiger Talk, which we haven't actually done since the first episode because we haven't had any players on apart from Sops. So we'll get into it. The dressing room DJ.
Ed
Williams. Dressing room Joker.
Ed Williams.
Okay, well, hopefully this next one isn't Ed Williams. Most likely to become a manager.
I'd probably say Joe Hanks.
I think
everyone said that.
Ed said the same, yeah. Best technically?
Harry Pinchard. Can I have more than one?
You can have as many as you want.
Say Harry Pinchard's unbelievable. Ed Williams and Ellis Watts.
Worst trim?
Good question. mine goes Sean Spence.
Oh,
I think I was watching the Ed one before. I think we had Ben Morgan. So
Ben Morgan's up there. But I think Sean for me.
I'm glad we haven't had the same person twice.
Yeah.
Don't want to create a theme. Best fashion sense?
Ellis Watts.
Again, I think Ed said him. Worst fashion sense?
Sean Spence.
is it that
Ed
bad?
said that.
Yeah, he said. I think he said Hanksy.
Or Sean.
Yeah, I think Hanks or Sean definitely.
Geography teacher is
that's what he
the
said.
quote.
Hanksy, yeah.
What's it called, like, it's team bus buddy.
Ed Williams, yeah.
Who's one person you wouldn't want to sit by on the coach?
I'd say Dylan Jones. Just he's angry and he farts a lot, so yeah, probably Dylan.
And the last one, who's most likely to make it to the EFL?
Harry Pinchot.
Wow.
I think so many of those answers. I'm sure Ed said like pretty much
Getting the same, aren't they? Yeah.
for every one of them.
Yeah.
With Pinchy.
Actually, just a quick mention. Actually, I'll say Harry Pinchot, but Michael O'Regan as well for the EFL.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've obviously. I was going to say with Pinchy, but both of them. Obviously, Harry went on trial with Charlton, as everyone knows, and
Yeah.
Michael's settled in so nicely, and he's like an absolute Rolls Royce at the back. What of those two like? Obviously, two different players, but Pinchy, we all know how good he is as Gloucester City fans, but I think we're all a bit surprised by how good Michael actually is.
I mean, I agree. I mean, obviously, I've never seen Pinchy play before. I've never come up against him, anything like that. And obviously, when he went on trial to Cheltenham, I didn't know much about him. And then obviously, he come back in to Gloucester, and how he's not got a deal at Cheltenham is just unbelievable. By the way, like crazy. He is a joke. He is so good and still so young. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, if he doesn't make it into the FR, there's a big problem. And obviously, said about Michael O'Regan. Yeah, again, I've never come across him. When he signed, I didn't know him. So he come in again, another one with unbelievable attitude. Everything about him is just so professional, and him on the pitch, for me at the moment, he'd be out there with like having the first name on the team sheet. He's been that good this year, and obviously you can tell. If he doesn't kick on, there will be an issue because he is a top player.
Yeah, I think a lot of the lads say, like, when they first met him, like, how on earth have you not played, like, academy football? Or he's literally just come through the ranks ever so slowly. What do you think that might have helped him a little bit, that he hasn't played academy football and this is he just found his way up naturally? Yeah,
potentially, yeah. I mean, because, honest, there's obviously the academy football. It's, again, like I said earlier, it's a lot different to men's football. And you can, as an academy player, you can get a lot of traits which, in my opinion, are wrong. I'm going to say, like, you get a lot of lads who are younger and at bigger clubs who are a bit big time, as we'd say.
Yeah.
And which obviously definitely not a good trait to have. And obviously Michael O'Regan's so far from that, So I definitely think just making his way on his own, it's definitely helped him, 100%.
You talk about, obviously, when you were here before, you were with, Ed and Hanksy, but now, it's a pretty different side since the first time you're here. Who, maybe apart from those two, who is the player who's surprised you the most?
From this squad this year?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Michael O'Regan for me. Yeah, definitely. He has surprised me because obviously I've never come across him before, so I didn't know what to expect from him. And he's coming in a big lad, but the way he plays is just a joy. It's a joy to watch. And obviously, if you ask anyone in the team, they'll say the exact same. Even in training, he's so professional. He's never late. His boots are always clean. Maybe not all the time, but everything he does, he's on it with everything. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, he's been unbelievable since coming in.
And you obviously, from the start of the season, you were playing until you got injured. What's it been like for you? And you said about the roles you've been doing off the pitch. What's it been like to watch the football, and how have you been making an impact off the pitch?
Yeah, so obviously coming in, I was excited for the season. I thought it was going to be a successful season, and it was. We were doing so well. I was enjoying, my football. We was doing really well as a team, and obviously to get the injury was such a blow because it was such a silly injury as well. It was, it's not like it's a bad tackle. It's just kind of, silly little push, and I've landed on my ankle. So it was so frustrating for me because I felt like I was enjoying it. I was doing well, and to have that taken away from you, of sort of silly. It's just it's gutting, which I was really like angry, upset about. Obviously the whole injury, but it's the kind of things it's part and parcel of football. You kind of got to stay positive with it. But obviously when I had this, Daph was amazing. He kind of like just got me into the office and said, look, there's so many different things we can do at the club for you. And so I've been helping with like for example set pieces, been helping Kev with set pieces, bringing set pieces to like obviously the club and things like that, different ones we could try. What else have I been doing? Coaching, watching other teams, doing match reports and things like that, and obviously just being around the change room. Obviously as a captain I still want to have an influence on the team and help the team as much as I can, even off the pitch.
Yeah, and what's your career been like in terms of injury? Have you got quite lucky, or have you been, one that's getting injured quite a lot?
No, I mean I think I've played quite a lot of games in my football career, so I've not always had injuries. Obviously everyone gets niggles and things like that, but in terms of serious injuries, I've never really had anything that's been majorly bad. So this has kind of been probably the worst, I think, for me. So yeah, luckily I've not had anything before. And
do you think it's important, some clubs might just say to an injured player, oh, just stay at home every week and come if you want. Do you think it's very important? Obviously we all know how you are around the changing room, a big person. Do you think it's important not only for you but for everyone else that you keep showing your face, you keep coming to away games, and you're doing little bits here and there? Yeah, 100%. I mean, like I said, when I got injured, like I could have easily had some time away, and Daph was brilliant. He said it's entirely up to you what you want to do, but I couldn't do that. I wanted to keep coming in. One, for myself, obviously to still be a part of the whole group, and two, just to make sure like everything's going well in the change room. I still want to have that influence in the change room, because obviously as good as everyone is at the club, you don't want standards to slip in every way. Do you know what I mean? Like obviously I'm in charge of the fines, things like that, which obviously the boys hate. So apologies for that. But yeah, I just want to keep being around it and obviously helping as much as I can. I don't want to kind of just be away. It's not who I am. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, and being in charge of the fines, do they hate to see you come in?
Yeah, I've got a little green book, and I'm always watching the lads, and yeah, they don't. A few lads are not really liking paying fines at the moment. So, and
in sport, obviously, you get like some proper weird fines. I think I've seen weirder ones in rugby than football. But what would you say as the fines master? What's the fine where you go to them and then they say, oh, that's just ridiculous, or something like that?
We've got a few fines. I mean, weird ones probably. I'm allowed to say this on here, but like if you have like long pubes, for example, that's a fine. So yeah, that's not allowed at the club, unfortunately. But so that's probably the weirdest one. Yeah. Like not travelling back on the coach, that's fine. Having a bad performance is a fine. Own goals is a fine. Giving penalties away is a fine. Like dirty boots, fine. Shower gel, things like that. And walking around bare feet, things like that. It's all fines, obviously, but it all goes to a good cause, obviously, at the end of the year. So.
And talk to us about the latest fine that I've heard about, the one about the match day graphic. How are they taken to that one?
Yeah, not great. Obviously, because on a Saturday morning, the club will put up a graphic, match day, and then they'll put photos of lads. And obviously that gets put on platforms, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. So obviously lads get fined £2 per player on the graphic for each platform. So it could be like £6 a week or whatever it is. So yeah, lads don't really like getting fined for anything, if I'm honest. But we need to have these fines to obviously buy into what we're doing. So you can't just have people who just walking around barefoot or throwing their kit on the floor, and we need to obviously make things, properly. So.
Yeah, I think I've spoke to our graphics guy, and he's gonna do something special for the Friday night game. Oh, yeah. So you might have some money in the kitty. Let's just say that.
Yeah, keep it coming. It's double December as well, so.
Yeah. Boom, you'll be in there. Yeah. So we get to now. We've had a tough game on Tuesday and a tough period of busy games. We've had Saturday, Tuesday, and I think just watching on Tuesday, that loss, we're recording this just before the game against Wimborne, after the Farnham game, that we didn't look tired, but it might have took a toll, the busy schedule that we've had. What do you think about that? I think obviously the Tuesday game against Farnham, obviously we lost the game, but when I was watching from the sideline, I thought we were good. I thought we played well. I mean, obviously their 2 goals just come from absolutely nowhere. And once you get 2 goals up away on a Tuesday night, it gives them something to hold on to, which they did.
They defended really well and things like that. But again, like you said, I don't think we look tired. We've got like a fit group, but it's not just about being physically tired. It's everything else that comes with it. Obviously, if you look at we call it our blocks. So we had a really good block this year. I think when we lost 2 games this month. I think because everyone's got such high expectation on us, when we do slip up or lose a game or draw a game, we're so hard on ourselves as a team, as a club, because we know we've got such a good squad. We shouldn't be dropping points, but it's going to happen. It's just you're not going to win every single game, but we just got to obviously stay together when these times do happen. We just got to stick together with it.
So I remember I spoke to Daff after the Basingstoke game, and he sort of said the scheduling, is a bit of a joke. Obviously, thankfully, you're not feeling, the physical effects of playing, Tuesday, Saturday. But what do you make of the scheduling? Does something need to be done about that?
I mean, yeah, it is difficult. I mean, because we're obviously part-time lads, so like a lot of lads work in the day. So we'll work in the day, and then we'll go away on Tuesday night to Basingstoke, and we'll have to go to play, and it's physically hard. The games, it's lots of running, it's fighting, it's trying to get them 3 points. It's difficult, but yeah, it's always been like that, and yeah, I wouldn't say something needs to be done about it, but it definitely needs. Don't know. It is difficult for the boys. Just put it like that. I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously we've had the Saturday, Tuesday, and I think after December, in December actually this year, for probably one of the first times ever, it just goes Saturday. The Christmas fixtures are different this year to usual. We've got, instead of Boxing Day, the 27th, and then instead of New Year's Day, we've got a game on the 3rd against Evesham. What is it good, do you think, for you guys to have those days off of Boxing Day and New Year's Day, or does it just feel a little bit weird that you're not going to have a game on those days?
Yeah, I think it will feel weird this year. I mean, that's never happened to me personally. In all the time I've been playing, we've always played Boxing Day, New Year's Day, and not that it matters, because obviously we haven't got a load of lads who's going to go out and like drink and do this, do that. So that doesn't really matter. But I think it's more about having the time with your families and things like that, having time away and things like that. So I think this year, it's good. We're training obviously Boxing Day, which is obviously fine. It's good to get us in, and then obviously we'll train as well on the 2nd. But no, I think it is nice that we will have that time, not to. Obviously Christmas Day, you're worrying a little bit. Oh, can I eat that or can I do that? Because obviously you've got a game, which is fine. But obviously, it'd be quite nice to not have to worry so much about that.
So obviously, we've mentioned it a lot. Football and family, your brother's playing, your girlfriend's playing. Does that make it a bit easier? I think, say if some players on Christmas Day, they might say all their family sort of having loads of chocolate. You might think, I want to get in on that. But then if your girlfriend's thinking the same as you and your brother's thinking the same as you are.
Yeah, 100% does make it easier, because obviously usually Christmas Day evening I'll go to my mum's and my brothers are all there, so it does make it easier, because obviously we're all in the same boat. So yeah, it definitely makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, so this is Friday. Tomorrow we go to Wimborne. Obviously a big game there. They're doing well in the league. What you said, you've done a lot of work behind the scenes. What do we know about them, and what can we expect from tomorrow's game? It's
going to be a tough game. They're a big physical team. They've got a lot of good players, and so we know obviously we're going to expect them to be long balls. It's going to be a lot of second balls, so we're going to have to obviously match that. But yeah, they've got a good squad there, and obviously I don't think they've lost there this year. And Daff was saying they've maybe won 5, drawn 1. Yeah. So obviously, if we could go there and obviously be the first team to beat them, it's going to be a big statement, obviously, to the league. Obviously, off the back of Tuesday. So
I think we're pretty much there to end the episode. Do you want to pop the question?
I'll pop the question. So we ask it to everyone. Who's one person that you think we should get on the next episode of Tiger Talk?
Who would I like to see?
Everyone says Sheffy, but we've been trying to get him on. I think we are due to get him on.
Yeah.
So try and say somebody else.
Yeah, I'd like to see a player actually. I would like to see Harry Pinchard on it. I think. Yeah, definitely would like to. I'd be interested to see how his career's gone.
Maybe you could put in a word for us. Maybe,
I will. Yeah.
Maybe drop him a little message.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, I'll say Harry Pinchard. I'll see what he says.
Right. Well, that's been the episode of Keiran Thomas on the Tiger Talk podcast. Keiran, hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, guys. Cheers.
And obviously, thanks Morgan as always for being the co-host.
Thanks,
and
Morgan.
we'll see you in the next one. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Very much.